people we encountered was a young girl, maybe no more than 10 years old, who was crying. And we asked her, "Why are you crying?" And she said, "Because I don't want to be here. I'm a father." How could President Biden and Kamala Harris allow this to go on and not even come here and see it for themselves? It's a disgrace.
All right, Minority Whip Steve Scalise visiting the border, the Rio Grande specifically, with a large group of Republicans as he's firsthand for themselves out of Mission, Texas, and a boat tour. What conditions are like there? Let's just say getting more crowded. We've got the latest from the border, as well as the mixed signals we could be getting out of the administration as to who, if anyone, could be coming next from the White House. Also, we'll be hearing from Rick Perry, the former governor of Texas, and indeed the former Energy Secretary of the United States. It's a busy show. The focus right now is on the border, what's going on there, largely based on investigations with different parties, sending different groups at different times to echo the same theme. It is getting to be rather dangerous down there. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is Your World. Alex Hogan has been seeing all of this firsthand. She joins us right now out of Mission, Texas. Hey, Alex.
Hi, Neil. In the early hours of the morning, we were able to join Border Patrol and to step into their shoes and see how they view this immigration challenge. And what we found in the dark, families and people traveling alone who banded together for safety in numbers. Some of those people were seriously ill and needed immediate medical treatment. Others were lost and needed directions, not knowing where to go. What we've seen also is the number of children increasing. There are more than 19,000 children who crossed the border just last month alone. Now, Border Patrol Council Vice President Chris Cabrera says that in the last 20 years, it's the busiest he's ever seen it.
The worst thing we can ever do is become numb to something like that, because that's not normal. But it's becoming all too common to us now that we see these kids that are in situations like that.
The tour was organized through a trip led by House Republican Whip Steve Scalise. The delegation will continue their visit to the border, meeting with other agencies, among them the Texas Department of Public Safety. Scalise calling on the president to come down to the border and hear these stories for himself and to take immediate action. Back here live with our Fox flight team, President Biden's 2022 discretionary funding request has eliminated funding for the unfinished parts of the border wall. Sections here along the Rio Grande River have been finished through private funding, but not all of them. However, one resident who spent his own money has finished part of the wall on his own land and even built a road for border agencies to use on his property. Meanwhile, back there this morning in the brush, when we saw some of these migrants come over from the Rio Grande River, I talked with one boy. He was a 17-year-old. He had been traveling. He'd been on the road for 1 month. He was hoping to reach North Carolina. As we continue to see more and more migrants, this is happening every single day, every single hour. Neil?
And the numbers just grow and grow and grow. Alex Hogan, great reporting. Thank you very, very much. To Rick Perry right now, the former governor of the state of Texas, one of its longest-serving governors, I might point out, the former Energy Secretary of the United States as well. Governor, thank you for taking the time. It just seems out of control. Semantics really don't matter, whether you call it crisis or serious situation. It's a mess. And it's getting messy, and it's getting more crowded. So what to do?
It is. The issue has been around for some time. And in 2012, we saw the trains that were coming up to the border. That's when we first deployed in the state of Texas at the Obama administration at that particular point in time, signaling, not anywhere near as strongly as the Biden administration, but even then they were signaling, come on up. And that signaling is the real problem. That's the real issue. That, and then the commitment that you don't see from this administration to secure the border. Here's the untold story, I think, Neil, that we really need to talk about. What is happening along that border? The message that's being sent now is that it's okay to sexually traffic children, because that's what's happening down there in a lot of different cases. And that business now is now greater than the drug trade. And not only are, this administration and their seeming lack of caring about human beings that are being trafficked out of Central and Central America and Mexico up into the United States. I mean, there's a film that's going to be coming out very soon called The Sound of Freedom that talks about this issue. Hopefully, it will really get the American people's attention, that this isn't about, folks who are just having a difficult time in their country and wanting to find a better life. This is about modern day slavery, that this administration, by allowing this to happen, by not sending the signal, don't come, they're supporting it. And I don't know how they can have a conscience at all. I mean, to stand up and say, where's your shame in allowing this type of activity to occur? It's just, this is inhumane in the greatest sense, Neil.
All right, now they like to point out that these cases you're talking about are very rare. We could go back and forth on that. What we do know, to your point in being a governor, that funding along the border was not a priority in this latest skinny budget that the Biden administration released today. No border wall funding here. A lot of the addresses are discretionary and non-defense related items, but very little to address the kind of thing you're talking about. So what does that mean?
Maybe there is a reason to go take a look at this. For the vice president to, break away from whatever she's doing that's so important, to go to the border. She didn't have to go to the border of Texas if she decides that's not where she wants to go. There's plenty of border in Arizona, New Mexico, California. What is happening is unconscionable. And I don't know how they can stand up in front of the American people and say, we have a caring bone in our body, knowing what's going on there. And I will tell you, if they are standing up and saying, well, these are very rare occurrences of people being sexually trafficked, they're just wrong. They are absolutely wrong. This is a massive problem that this open border is promoting. And they are going to be held accountable for it, and they should be.
Now, in the meantime, we do know the numbers are exponentially growing at the rate, some say, I saw one study that put it at 5,000 to 7,500 a week at this rate. Now, a lot of the people, who are first, if they're young and they're these migrant minor, holding cells or whatever they want to call them, they're later sent to other locales all over the country. We're also litigating a lot of the other cases on the American side of the border prior to the Mexican side of the border as it was under President Trump. What is your best guess, Governor, as to where those who are having their cases litigated in the United States now, where they go? How many of them do you suspect will return to either Mexico or point south?
Very few would be my bet. That's what we've seen through the years. I mean, history is a pretty good teacher. Once they get into the United States and they try to dissolve into to the society, this administration seems to be rewarding them for doing that. If you'll just get here, we'll take care of you from now on out. What a horrible message. Number one, because it puts them in so many cases in danger, and to bait people into trying to come on this very difficult trip where you've got cartels and other criminal elements that are going to use these individuals in a lot of different ways, as we've talked about already in sexual trafficking side, as mules to bring drugs in. I mean, there is so much wrong with what's going on down there. We know that
Governor, to your point, Governor, and I'm sorry to jump on you there, but we're getting word that Roberta Jacobson, who's the coordinator for the Southwest border, is resigning. She is leaving. This is coming from Jake Sullivan of the National Security Advisor. saying that Ambassador Roberta Jacobson's leadership in serving as special assistant to the president coordinator for the southwest border has been an invaluable contribution to the Biden-Harris administration and to the U.S. Ambassador Jacobson dedicated her career to working tirelessly to advance U.S. interest in the Western Hemisphere. I could go on, but she's leaving. She hasn't been on the job long. What do you think?
Well, I let her speak for the reasons that she's leaving, but my bet is that the individual that you mentioned, Ms. Jacobson, may have a conscience, and she may be seeing what's going on and recognizing that she can't live with herself if she continues to allow the activities that are going on that border to go forward without addressing them.
Or she could have been forced out.
Individual.
Right? She could have been forced out.
That's been known to happen as well. But the point is, I think we can't sidestep what's going on down there. And the idea, and particularly, I'm going to keep going back to this issue of the sexual trafficking of individuals, particularly children, is unconscionable. It is going on down there, and the policies that are put in place by the Biden administration, it helps that occur. And they've got to stand up. They've got to face this. They've got to address this issue. And there's no, dancing around it. They're going to be held accountable for it. And they need to be held accountable for it now before it goes on further.
All right. Governor, I want to thank you very much, as always, as we do each and every day.
Welcome,
We've reached out to the administration or a spokesman, anyone to come on and address this. They have not. In the meantime, I want to keep you abreast of some other developments on the virus. By and large, in most states,